This video is for educational, entertainment, fan vid only. Knowledge in this video may or may not be true. Viewer discretion is recommended. Today I'll be diagnosing every pyrria's tribes and characters, and yeah, I'll be fixing them. So, no more spending time. Let's go to our reigning patients. Well, you might know the problem reigning dragonets have. The one problem is they cannot count. It's kind of the reason they can't count. Well, they haven't learned stuff in a very long time. They haven't read scrolls in a long time. It'd be like 2,000 years, I think, since they ever read scrolls. So I'll give them dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is a neurological disorder that makes you have difficulties doing math. It's like you can't really count, you can't do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You just can't really do it. It's like dyslexia, but in math addition. I'm gonna give them dyslexia and dyscalculia because it is said in a lot of bits in the book. They have never seen schools, they cannot read, they cannot write, or they can't count or do math. But now they can because Queen Glory came and all those lazy ex-queens are off the throne, so Queen Glory can fix them. So, thinking about dyscalculia counseling, it's $75 NZ to $250 NZ. Their parents might need to think about that. And next up is Chameleon. What is Chameleon famous for? Well, yes. His Darkstalker is scroll and his all of his shapes, Bog, Shapeshift, Cirrus, all of those stuff. But why can't he change his skills? One reason, he can't stand. And 100% insomnia. It is mentioned in the graphic novel Book 3, the healers mentioned this in front of Glory. Remember that Rainwing who couldn't sleep more than an hour at a time? That was the saddest case I ever saw. Our Rainwing who couldn't sleep? He had a snot deformity. We couldn't fix it. It was awful. Worse than that, because he couldn't sleep, he couldn't change his scales either. He was so grumpy and unsettling. It is clear that he couldn't sleep, so he had insomnia. So I thought for a moment. So I wondered what to give him. But researching, reading books, asking ChatGPT what to give him as a prescription, I made this. And the cost is $30, but he always says this. But no, the world is a harsh place. I need money. Anyway, on to the X-Reigning Queens. X-Queen Magnificent and X-Queen Dazzling. It is also mentioned below, there's a little comic strip that obviously says, Magnificent has brain loss. No, not brain damage, maybe a memory loss. Sounds like Magnificent might be the best of them. Magnificent's main problem is forgetfulness. She can never remember what she's agreed to, and she doesn't really care. I gave her a diagnosis of dementia, but maybe that's not just it. Maybe she has autism or something. But I'm not giving her autism, actually. Just dementia, that's it. I wonder how old is she? Is she old enough to have dementia? Doesn't matter. And on the right, there's X-Queen Dazzling. I'm looking for things. It was first a syndrome called Kluver-Bucy syndrome. I couldn't really pronounce it, but I'm sure that's how I read it. But that was something else because Kluver-Bucy syndrome is comes along with hypersexuality, Rainwings. don't do that, I don't think. So, Prader-Willi syndrome is a syndrome that makes you want to eat anything edible. This comes with being never full and you're really small because it said you can't really grow large. But since on the below it says, "That was dazzling. She'll grant anyone anything they ask if they bring her enough tribute." And she's eating literally infinite fruits, so she's literally eating everything she can. So I diagnosed her with Prader-Willi syndrome. However, Prader-Willi syndrome is present from birth, rare, about 1 in 10,000 to 30,000 births worldwide. No complete cure, however, can be treated when managed. It's rare and there's no complete cure, so it's hard to treat it. So summary for the rainwings. Rainwing dragonets, dyscalculia, dyslexia, $195 NZ to $300 NZ for dyslexia counseling, $75 NZ to $250 NZ for dyscalculia counseling. Then 10 milligrams of zolpidem for chameleon, $30 NZ. Dementia screening for extreme magnificent, $400 NZ to $1,000 plus NZ. Next up is the skywings. Well, it's always mentioned they always look so grumpy. Well, what's the disorder that makes you always grumpy? And your friends might talk about it every time. Well, in slang, it's called crash out. So what do you think it is? Yeah, what do you think it is? Of course it is. Anger issues. But I've always decided I have friends, they call a person that always crashes out and can't hold their anger just a crash out, or, "Oh look, that guy's anger issues. They call that. But I'm sure there'll be another definition for anger issues, like a scientific way of saying it. But I'll read you the dialogue that Fathom is saying on the left. "I had no idea Skywings would look so grumpy." And a lot of other things are mentioned. They look so grumpy. And they are grumpy. Example, X-Queen Scarlet. "Yay, it's my birthday party. I don't like the cake. You're executed." And she does the same to Osprey, because Osprey told Peril that the Champion's Shield tradition, and she absolutely goes crash out mode and kills Osprey by dropping him from the air. So she is angry. I found a scientific way of saying it, and I researched. So here's my research results. Oppositional Defiant Disorder, ODD. Well, this is a thing in society where you don't listen to your adults or don't listen to your teacher. This is kind of severe because pretend you're on a train and they ask you to get off and you don't, and you might get arrested. Well, the counselor and therapist for this is $130 NZ to $185 NZ per session. But I bet her mother could pay it, even though she's dead. Even though Scarlet's dead anyway. Doesn't matter. Good luck, counselor. Hope you don't die. And this is written by Tailwind in the Guide to the Dragon World. Listen, I'm old enough to remember Princess Scarlet as a baby dragonet, and she was the worst. The very first thing she learned to do was point at things and scream until someone gave them to her. Then she learned that if she screamed for no reason, dragons would just come running to give her random things to make her stop. So she would do that just to see what she could get. She screamed anytime she didn't get her way. And I'm talking about the highest pitched, angry, eagle shriek you've ever heard. The whole palace echoes with her rage basically from the moment she hatched. Also, she stole treasure from every single dragon in the palace, just sauntered into their rooms, snatching jewelry or breaking their treasure chests to rifle through them. When anyone confronted her about it, she stared at them as though they were speaking some weird scavenger language she'd never heard before. She could be wearing the very necklace they accused her of stealing, and she would still act though they were absolutely incomprehensible. So that's theft, and that might be actually robbery, but she never used force, and yeah. Because she was royal, I don't really understand the fact you're royal, you don't get punished. I don't really understand. But I do understand the fact they're dictators. If I'm wrong, just please leave it in the comments. But I couldn't bring more because the website didn't let me download it. And it said her mother didn't even care and thought Scarlet was really funny and didn't punish her. So it's her mother's fault as well. Summary for the Skywings. Counselor therapist 130 NZ dollars to 185 NZ dollars per session for ex-Queen Scarlet, even though she's dead. Next up is Nightwings. As you can see on the background, they're living on a little freaking volcano. And what do you think they'll have? They're living on a volcano, and volcanic ashes keeps coming out of the volcano, and they have pneumothromicroscopic pseudoconiosis. And pneumothromicroscopic pseudoconiosis is an exaggerated version of silicosis, which is a way of saying it's a type of lung disease that you get from inhaling volcanic smoke. And they might have insomnia because they're addicted to their scrolls. And look at Starfire right now reading his pretty book, even though it's blind. And sometimes it's untreatable because it has scarred the lungs. Because volcanic ash is very hot, it could burn your lungs, and it could have organisms inside it, like chemicals, like bacteria, like salmonella, or I don't really know about this stuff because I didn't pay good attention in biology or chemistry. And then there's the Sandwings. Well, the one thing they're proud of is, of course, their treasure until it was robbed by us humans. So I searched up again, and it came up with chromatomania. It's addiction to money and shopping and stuff. So here I go. Ooh, money! Ooh, money! Ah! And bro just died for $1. And also, Blaze does this as well. She almost killed herself. Not in this version. So, ooh, money! Ooh, sparkly stuff! Fire! And she burned to death. Example. She presumably has chromatomania and ADHD. Is also mentioned in the Ringlets 3 Deserters. She can never focus in her class and doodles on her workbook. Tiaras, sparkly stuff, gems, necklaces, and stuff. And here's the little comic on the right. Let me guess. Smolder tried to run off with his girlfriend again. No, I took care of Smolder's girlfriend. I'm just going to check the treasury. Ooh, sparkly things. Good night, Mother. And then the counseling fees are CBT, Cognitive Behavior Therapy, 100 NZ dollars to 250 NZ dollars. For Blaze, of course. And lots of others. And her sisters as well, actually. It's about to come out. Well, these are the two absolute insane sisters. Psychopath / Blister and the sociopath on the right. Well, you might ask me, what's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath? They're not insane. They're not serial killers. They don't laugh at the killing people. Just the movies always exaggerate them to get money out of the movie. Well, a psychopath, their moves are more calculated. They do it on purpose for their own good. They do it pretend a psychopath kills a person to get money, and they enjoy it as well. They kind of know murder is wrong. They know it. They know if they get caught, they get in prison. But they enjoy it. They get their own good out of it. And outside of them, they might just look like another person passing by your class. They might look normal. They might be charming. But inside of them, they're honestly serial killers. But I'm not trying to insult psychopaths. And don't fault them or bully them, psychopaths. Because it's not their fault they're a psychopath. It's kind of the god's fault or their mother's fault. And psychopaths can be, both sociopaths and psychopaths can be caused by inappropriate education or just the moment they're born. Or rather, sociopath is they don't understand why it's wrong. They do it because they feel joy out of it. They love killing people, and it's actually visible. Their actions are really erratic. They just do it recklessly. They don't have plans. They have no nothings. They just kill. I'm sure that's what I learned, though. I have 3 daughters, but who will end up on my throne? Dizzy Blaze. She'd be a terrible queen, but she's an acceptable daughter. Burn is the biggest and strongest, but we get along. From the moment she hatched, I've known Blister was the one who's going to kill me. And the picture on the middle, she's holding a battle axe stained with dragon blood, and I think she's enjoying it. She collects curiosities. You should see her palace. It's quite horrifying, full of 2-headed lizards. Burn is allied with the Skymies and the Mudwings. She could crush others like bugs in claw-to-claw combat. If she wins, she'll probably keep the war going just for fun. She loves war and killing people just for fun. That's a sociopath. Where is my sparkly tiara? We gotta go, bro. The storm is coming, and you'll die. No, I have to find my sparkly tiara. Sandwing summary. CBT, Cognitive Behavior Therapy, $100 NZ, $250 NZ for X-Queen Blaze. The same thing for X-Queen Blister, and the same thing for X-Queen Burn. And the next up is Mudwings. Well, what's so special about them? Well, they love eating. They lie in mud patches every day. But I kind of like Mudwings, honestly. They're cute. Not in a weird way. But it's true they love eating. Just like Clay. They eat like this. Clay? Oh, hey, Starflight. Clay, listen. I'm using a dream visit to visit your dream. I need to tell you something important. That's nice. Chicken? Please concentrate, Clay. Would you rather have a pig? Wait, I ate the pig. And I diagnosed him with Kluver-Bucy syndrome. Kluver-Bucy syndrome actually also gives the desire to eat and comes with hypersexuality. Hypersexuality is thing where you want to have sex with someone overly. And it's quite serious because they could turn into weird people and do bad stuff and weird stuff to other people. So, and it's said they have breeding nights every month, which is kind of hypersexuality to me. And next up is the Ice Wings. They're known for their smugness and their animus magic, of course. But what is Winter known for? His slogan, of course. I'm the girl, and I'm That's his little slogan. And this is what Winter thinks he looks like. And that's the reality. I literally bet on $2,300. I bet, literally. And I diagnosed him with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. This is where a person makes inappropriate jokes, is very smug, and thinks he's really charming, and he's not. And next up is the Seawings. Honestly, I didn't really know much about them. I'm not fond of them. They have literally the palace, the pavilion before was destroyed. They have the deep palace, which is beautiful. I thought there's nothing wrong with them. Like, what could be wrong with them? But looking into the fandom, I found this one Seawing that could have angered the whole fandom. Vrew. Well, you might know the problems with him by reading Book 2, The Lost Heir.
What problem does Vrew have? Well, all of you might know. He tried to kill Tsunami and get married to Anemone and tried to beat up King. So I'm thinking he's basically PDF save file, but since he just tried to get married to Anemone, I'm pretty sure Anemone is right now how old is she anyway? She's like 2. No, she was like 4 or something, and like Whirlpool was basically 35 at his age, and he tried to get married to Anemone and tried to be the king. But I don't know, he's just really, really dumb, because if Anemone were to be the king and if Anemone were to be the queen and he was to be the king, Anemone could easily throw him off the throne by just killing him. She says queens have more power than kings. So, doesn't he get the fact? So, I'll read this dialogue. Me? You don't even like me that much. Yes, but frankly, I don't want to marry her. That was totally on my list of some reasons someone might want to kill you. Don't worry, I'd rather be torn apart by tiger sharks than marry you. But you see, I do want to be king, so I thought if I got rid of you, I'd improve my chances of marrying a more agreeable daughter. I'm not agreeable. I don't ever want to marry you either. Once I tell the queens what you can do, they'll let me have anything I want. You can't tell them. Well, then he dies and gets electrocuted by eels. And he deserves it perfectly. So there isn't really a cure for save file, but there is a treatable course where he can pay for CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, for $150 to $300, but I can't do that since he's already dead. Anyway, that's the end of the video.
And subscribe and ring the bell. See you later!